Morning, 8th grade. We are going to move on to Progress Report 13. At this point, you should have all of this filled out from Progress Report 12, and we should be moving on to look for some changes in character from Progress Report 13. You should be annotating on your packet while I read, adding in any annotations you'd like and underline. Progress Report 13, May 23rd. It happened today. Algernon bit me. I visited the lab to see him as I do occasionally, and when I took him out of his cage, he snapped at my hand. I put him back and watched him for a while. He was unusually disturbed and vicious. May 24th. Bert, who is in charge of the experimental animals, tells me that Algernon is changing. He is less cooperative. He refuses to run the maze anymore. General motivation has decreased, and he hasn't been eating. Everyone is upset about what this may mean. I'm going to put in the border, connect Charlie and Algernon. We know that they both had the same surgery, so thinking about what this means for Charlie moving forward. May 25th. They've been feeding Algernon, who now refuses to work the shifting lock problem. Everyone identifies me with Algernon. In a way, we're both the first of our kind. They're all pretending that Algernon's behavior is not necessarily significant for me. But it's hard to hide the fact that some of the other animals who were used in this experiment are showing strange behavior. Dr. Strauss and Dr. Namor have asked me not to come to the lab anymore. I know what they're thinking, but I can't accept it. I am going ahead with my plans to carry their research forward. With all due respect to both of these fine scientists, I am well aware of their limitations. If there is an answer, I'll have to find it out for myself. Suddenly, time has become very important to me. I'm going to put this as a change in Charlie. For Progress Report 13 is that Charlie is taking control of his own life and future. This is kind of the first time we've really seen him take a really strong stance about what's going to happen to him and feel really strongly. So when I go to my text, I'm going to go with, if there's an answer, I'll have to find it out for myself. Because I think this is showing that Charlie really has changed into somebody who takes matters into his own hand and takes charge, especially with something as important as this. May 29th. I've been given a lab of my own and permission to go ahead with the research. I'm on to something, working day and night. I've had a cot moved into the lab. Most of my writing time is spent on the notes, which I keep in a separate folder. But from time to time, I feel it necessary to put down my moods and my thoughts out of sheer habit. I found the calculus of intelligence to be a fascinating study. Here is the place for the application of all the knowledge I have acquired. In a sense, it's the problem I've been concerned with all my life. May 31st. Dr. Strauss thinks I'm working too hard. Dr. Namor says I'm trying to cram a lifetime of research and thought into a few weeks. I know I should rest, but I'm driven on by something inside that won't let me stop. I've got to find a reason for the sharp regression in Algernon. I've got to know if and when it will happen to me. I'm going to write in the corner just a couple of words to show how Charlie's feeling. I think anxious. Anxious, determined, as a few words. Go ahead and add any if you think you have some of your own. June 4th, letter to Dr. Strauss, copy. Dear Dr. Strauss, under separate cover I am sending you a copy of my report entitled The Algernon-Gordon Effect, a study of structure and function of increased intelligence, which I would like to have you read and have published. As you see, my experiments are completed. I have included in my report all of my formulae as well as mathematical analysis in the appendix. Of course, these should be verified. Because of its importance to both you and Dr. Namor, and need I say myself too, I have checked and rechecked my results a dozen times in hope of finding an error. I am sorry to say the results must stand. Yet, for the sake of science, I am grateful for the little bit that I here add to the knowledge of the function of the human mind and of the laws governing the artificial increase of human intelligence. I recall your once saying to me that an experimental failure or the disproving of a theory was as important to the advancement of learning as a success would be. I know now that this is true. I am sorry, however, that my own contribution to the field must rest upon the ashes of the work of two men I regard so highly. Yours truly, Charles Gordon. I'm going to put a comment here because I'm thinking about what Charlie's just figured out. So Charlie has found out that the experiment is a failure. What does that mean for Charlie? That means that he's going to go back to the way that he was before, the way that Algernon is now going back. June 5th. I must not become emotional. The facts and the results of my experiments are clear, and the more sensational aspects of my own rapid climb cannot obscure the fact that the tripling of intelligence by the surgical technique developed by Drs. Strauss and Nimor must be viewed as having little or no practical applicability at the present time to the increase of human intelligence, once again meaning it was a failure. As I review the records and data on Algernon, I see that although he is still in his physical infancy, he has regressed mentally. Motor activity is impaired, and there is a general reduction of glandular activity. There is an accelerated loss of coordination. There are also strong indications of progressive amnesia. As will be seen by my report, these and other physical and mental deterioration syndromes can be predicted with statistically significant results by the application of my formula. The surgical stimulus to which we were both subjected has resulted in an intensification and acceleration of all mental processes. The unforeseen development, which I have taken the liberty of calling the Algernon-Gordon effect, is the logical extension of the entire intelligence speed-up. The hypothesis here proven may be described simply in the following terms. Artificially increased intelligence deteriorates at the rate of time directly proportional to the quantity of the increase. I feel that this in itself is an important discovery. As long as I am able to write, I will continue to record my thoughts in these progress reports. It is one of my few pleasures. However, by all indications, my own mental deterioration will be very rapid. I have already begun to notice signs of emotional instability and forgetfulness, the first symptoms of the burnout. So what Charlie's saying in all of this scientific language and all of this kind of really large vocabulary is that essentially Charlie is going to start to lose his intelligence quickly and go back to his former self, or possibly even worse. So he's about to start losing his intelligence, and we don't know how extreme it's going to be. June 10th. Deterioration progressing. That means he's losing things. I have become absent-minded. Algernon died 2 days ago. Dissection shows my predictions were right. His brain had decreased in weight, and there was a general smoothing out of cerebral convolutions as well as a deepening and broadening of brain fissures. I guess the same thing is, or will soon be happening to me. Now that it's definite, I don't want it to happen. I put Algernon's body in a cheese box and buried him in the backyard. I cried. So Charlie knows what's happening and what's coming. I'm just going to read June 15th to finish up for Progress Report 3 for today. Dr. Strauss came to see me again. I wouldn't open the door, and I told him to go away. I want to be left to myself. I have become touchy and irritable. I feel the darkness closing in. It's hard to throw off thoughts of suicide. I keep telling myself how important this introspective journal will be. It's a strange sensation to pick up a book that you read and enjoyed just a few months ago to discover that you don't remember it. I remembered how great I thought Milton was, but when I picked up Paradise Lost, I couldn't